Hey there YouTube, here's another video for you. This is our traditional, kind of what we get started on. We're doing a coin roll hunt of 10. That first video you saw, we showed you the different banks. This is 10 rolls of circulated quarters from one of two different banks that use two different armored car companies. We're going to pick one or two of these rolls here. These are circulated, obviously. This one's an Oreo cookie. Got a bicentennial here. That's the only thing we saw. There's some new coins. Going to try and open this on camera, see if we got any obvious silver, which happens once in a great while, but on quarters it seems to be not very common in our area. But you never know. And you never know if you're going to find a foreign coin or an oddity in these. We've had a lot of you guys that have been sending pictures and messages on our email on our website that you guys are finding some really wild stuff in the rolls. Looking at the sides, see if there's any obvious silver. There's one that looks like a clad that's just as colored, but yeah, that's a 2000, pretty well trashed. And then beyond that, we've got, well, wait a minute, there's another one down here. See, when you get one right next to a shiny one, they can really fool you. Let's see what we got. Oh, that looks right. Yep, 64 silver right there, first roll. And you notice how next to that shiny coin, it was hard to tell because your eye, it plays a trick on you. I'll put it back here where it was for a second. Your eye plays a trick on you. You go to that shiny, and you know you've got all these different coins, like the first one that look dark, and you think you look past it. There's one next to it that's worn. There's no edge reading left, but that's a modern. Okay, so right out of the back, first roll, we got our first silver, 1964, great year. And then the Oreo cookie is a 2001 Vermont. And we're going to try something new with this Oreo cookie. We're going to save this for the end, and we'll deal with that at the time. This is Bombay Hook. We know that one has potential errors. This one's a Florida 2004. Nothing special. Hawaii. Nothing special. Shenandoah 2014, pretty bad shape. As a bicentennial, you know, we keep the bicentennial quarters for sure. We like bicentennial halves too, but the quarters definitely are getting scarcer and scarcer. They're not near as common as the half dollars. So when you find one, if it's in decent shape, keep it. There's a 1980p that's in halfway decent shape. We'll set that aside. Don't forget, we have the list. So when we find a coin that isn't beat up and trashed, we're going to set it to the side, and then we're going to line these up by date and mint mark, and we will go through the list. Kentucky, it's okay, but it's not on the list either. You learn the list after a while. Arizona, decent, it's on the list. Modern, Blue Ridge Parkway, I believe is on the list. There's a 1970. That is definitely a desirable coin. The 1970 is a very desirable coin. We'll talk about that in the wrap. There's another Blue Ridge that's not too bad. Michigan 2004. Not too bad shape. We'll take a look at that when we have a little more time to not rush. 97p. Set that aside. I can't remember if that one's a date. Alaskan Bear, obviously, extra claws on his paw. Another bicentennial. This is cool. And we know there's one on the end of the other roll. Another Blue Ridge. South Dakota, decent shape. That's not on the list. 81p. Not in too bad a shape. Don't remember if that one's on the list. 85p, same thing. Cumberland Gap 2016. We know that one has errors. We'll cover those as we get there. 94P, don't recall. That could be on the list. South Carolina, that's on the list. Blue Ridge, but it's all stained and discolored. Texas 2007. It's not a bad coin, but it's got some bag marks on it. Let's see, 80. It's pretty discolored and got some stuff growing on it. And a 2000 New Hampshire. The back is in very nice shape. The front's got some pretty bad bag marks. There's a Shenandoah 2014. That's a very nice one, and that also has, I think that's on the error list. It's either that or California that I'm thinking of. There's a 98P. Whoops, 98P. And here's California, and yeah, that's one that we know has an error on it. Is California. Shenandoah may be a mistake, but you know, we're trying to go through these quick. Delaware, you know, obviously the Spitting Horse, and 2 sets of Caesar Romney, or Rami, I can't remember how you pronounce that until I look at it. Older 85, and the last coin is a Shawnee, which we know that has errors. Hey gang, here's the wrap. First thing, of this first batch of the comparison of 10 rolls from each bank and armored car company. The first thing that we were real excited about is we got about 5 1983Ps. Now, if you remember, we went through that entire coin box not too long ago, quarter box not too long ago. We didn't get 1. So to get 5 out of 10 rolls, that's really good, because the 83P is a quarter that, as long as it's not completely trashed, even if it's not AUBU, if you find it at all, it is so rare because it's a very, very low mintage. It's one of the lowest mintages in the last 50 years. You need to just grab them, take them out of circulation, and put them away, okay? So that's what we've got here. You can see we had the tube made for the box thinking we would find a bunch, and we found nothing. So now we got 5 just in this video. You saw us find the 64 silver in the very first roll. We also checked that for a known error, which is on our list. Didn't find anything wrong with it. It's just a nice silver quarter. The next one blew us away. This is a 2006, I think, I'm looking at it, 2005, sorry. Oregon State quarter, Denver Mint. And this thing is a mirror finish front and back. So it's Gem BU, which is amazing to find in a box. But we're obviously keeping this thing. And we found about 4 or 5 more bicentennial quarters that were worth keeping. I found one that was really trashed, so I threw that back. But we're taking these out of circulation too, because they're starting to disappear. Now we get into the other stuff. 82P, obverse date on the rim. If you zoom in, you can see that the date actually extends over the rim. Okay, it's not crushed up against the rim's intact, the reading's intact. But the lettering itself actually wraps over the lip of the rim. So that's a cool one. Other than that, the image and the field are blurry. So, you know, something like a struck through grease or dye deterioration, we're not sure. But the date is the issue on that coin. On this one, we've got the 85P. On the obverse, we've got a split rim, almost entirely all the way around. It also has the blasted, as kind of a term that's been picked up lately. It has that blasted effect because it looks like from the center out, you've got all these streaks, okay? And it's very wavy and blurry. On the reverse, I put struck through. I've got to look it up. There's like a wire line that runs through the letters E, R, and I in the word America. It connects all 3 letters, and it's raised. So it's stamped in at the die. Next one is 2008, our buddy the Alaskan Bear. This guy has 8 toes because of the cuds. One of the most that we found. And in the Great Land right here, you basically have E and A in Great, and then L, A, and D. You can actually see them on the camera. There's a good view right there of land with the cuds just everywhere. So that kind of holds them all together. So those are 2 known varieties there, or errors. Next we have 2015, the year of errors, if you saw that video. Bombay hook, obverse, cuds in his mouth, and also dye trails in the fields. You can see how shiny that is, as opposed to down here where it doesn't have them. Some of these coins have it on all the fields. To the right, just for comparison's sake, I put one here so that you can see the fields should be smooth. They should not be shiny and wavy like the one next to it. So this is a normal coin, and this is a variety coin. Next we have 2016 P, Cumberland Gap. These are known errors. He has a cut on his cap. He has a cut on his brim. The one on his cap obviously connects to the rim. The second one only has the cut on the cap, which you can clearly see. It's a huge cut right there, right below the letter G. Then we go to the next coin over here, and we're going to jump a little out of order on the date because of the way I went through these. This is a Harpers Ferry, Philadelphia. As you know, we found a lot of errors on the image on the reverse, lots of different various versions. There's the double barrel, there's doubled windows. We have the one where the lower part of the coin is almost completely illegible, where you can't see anything, and the rim, the inner rim, doesn't go, it just completely dissolved away. These 2 buildings are missing. This one has severe distortion all the way around it, similar to that one. On the camera you can actually see the buildings. You can just make out how faint that line is there. It's almost gone. With normal magnification, 7 power that the grading companies use, this isn't there. And these buildings are barely visible. The one above it is another one. This one has dye trails, like we talked about on the other coin, on the Bombay hook. The fields have dye trails, and there's a location on the coin where we have like streaks in the dye trails as well. 2017 P, we move up. Effigy Quarter. Again, we know that there's errors and varieties on these, and you've seen our video hopefully on that one. This one, as opposed to the rear, which has most of them, having to do with lettering, doubling of the edge, that type of thing. This one has, on the obverse, it has a cud that is rolled over. It's almost rolled over onto the word America. And it's visible with the naked eye, and you can see it clearly there. It's really large. Okay, it actually goes from the F to the R. Then I found 3 more that I hadn't checked, so that's why we went to a second sheet that's a little out of order. Another Harpers Ferry, reverse and obverse both have the weak strike, which we found on dozens of these things, and the blasted effect, where all details are blurry. And again, with the digital camera they show up, but with a regular magnification this area just pretty much disappears. The buildings, standing here looking at it with the naked eye, are barely visible. They're not in focus at all, and the lettering is also deformed. And the last one we got here is the 2016 P Shawnee. We've got 2 of them, obverse, reverse, weak strike, just like the Harpers Ferry, blasted effect, all details, blurry, and air bubbles in the fields. You can see the shininess on this one here, and you can see the air bubbles around his neck and up in here. especially the fields and the lettering are very blurred by the bubbling of the metal. So we went hunting looking for errors. We found them. As I said, this is the first set of 10. We will go through the next set of 10 from another bank and another armored car company, and we'll compare it to this to see which one has the best results. And hope you found this interesting. Hope these help you find some of these. We're updating the list again, obviously, because some of these weren't on the list. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button so you get notified when we post a new video. Don't forget, we got links below here to our website, to the email, to products you guys ask about, the microscope, the magnifier, flips, books, reference materials, all kinds of stuff. And there's also on the website lots of history about the coins, and we're expanding that, and it's really becoming a nice resource, and that's where the lists live too. So until next time, JB Coins signing off.